And 72% of the time the market goes up. And the answer came to me. And that's when I developed my chart. The answer came to me is because, just like Caterpillar, when they pull their money out, you get out. Whoa.
It's your daily dose of how to manage your money. And now it's time for Phil's Gang on the Off the Wall Street Network.
Oh, God. I get nuts.
With your host, Phil Grande.
Bye. And welcome to my podcast. Thank you for supporting this podcast. So today, the market, it feels like it needs a catalyst to do something. What's really going on is that we got the PCE coming out tomorrow. We got NVIDIA earnings coming out. And we got Jackson Hole conference starting on Friday. So that's why the market doesn't seem like it's really doing much. The only part of the market that continues to do well, are our tech group, and it's only a very small part of the market, and that's the software, the cloud stocks. But they're holding in nicely. They're trying to break out, and they break out a little bit, then they consolidate. That's about the only thing that's really been working. Nothing else other than our gold stocks. People are looking for, defensive plays, so they're all jumping back into, the miners, and that's been really doing well for us. But overall, as I said, there's not much oxygen in the market right now. And you can sense it when you're trading it, and you look on your charts, you can see that the indices are rolling over. Now, underneath this market, nobody wants to talk about it, is a real threat, a big threat of a huge correction or even a crash, but no one wants to talk about it. And what is that? Small businesses. Small businesses, the backbone of our country. And even though we have oil down a bit, again, remember, oil's still running around that 85. It's only really should be around 65. Demand for oil, if you just put it up on demand, how much demand there is, oil should be at 65. So it's hanging around that 85. But right now, the yields, they're not easing enough. The bond market's killing the stock market. We got terrible yields on the 10-year. We got terrible yields on the 2-year, which is the most important. But yet, we're being told every day how this is the greatest economy ever. And what's underneath this economy is what no one wants to talk about. Small businesses are blowing up. That's what takes down the market. That's one of the biggest things that'll take the market down, small businesses. Do you ever notice on TV as of late, coverage, wall-to-wall coverage, 24/7 on the women's basketball news? Wall-to-wall, never stops. I don't care what time you put the TV on, you go get up 2 o'clock in the morning, and you turn, and there it is, women's basketball. That's fine, I get it. But shouldn't we be talking about an economy that we get all our jobs from? We don't get our jobs from Apple. We don't get our jobs from Microsoft. We get it from small businesses. And again, 24/7 is the coverage on an industry that has at max 3,000 jobs. That's it. What are you, nuts? And look at the time that they're given to this thing. I'm not against women's basketball, but come on, let's talk about what's really going on, what's going on, what's tearing this market apart that nobody wants to talk about. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, CNN, no segments on our businesses, small businesses. Fox, no segments. ABC, NBC, no segments. Nothing but women's basketball. A tiny job footprint of 3,000 jobs nationwide compared to small businesses of 61 million jobs nationwide. Yet nobody wants to talk about it. 46%, almost half of all jobs come from small businesses. And what's a small business? Is someone that has 10 employees or less. That's truly the small business. Now, Washington will classify, I think it's 100 or less. But real small businesses that really drives our economy is 10 employees or less. That holds up the whole economy. So we got 61 million workers. 46%, almost 50% of all U.S. jobs come from small businesses. 62% of all new jobs created comes from small businesses. 33 million small businesses nationwide. And small business employ 10,000 times more people than women's basketball. But no one wants to talk about small business. Instead, they tell us how great the economy is. But the small business is the backbone of our economy, and it's not great. The reason they don't want to talk about small businesses is like trading when you trade. Yields tell the truth, so they don't want you to know about yields. They don't want you to understand yields. Same thing, small businesses tell you the truth about how our economy is really doing. Oh, they don't want to talk about that. No. Got to keep everybody in the dark. But the economy, what do? They keep coming out. Like, remember the White House Father's Day message? I couldn't believe it. Record job numbers, the stock market, best economy ever. Our country is doing great. We're winning on all fronts. No, we're not. We're not. Our country's doing great. We're winning. No, we're not. Small businesses are so important. That should be the priority. Or Trump is going to lose midterm election. Can you imagine we lose midterm elections to these commies? We're going to have more salami mahamis like in New York. Can you imagine this guy going to be all over our country, be in our Senate like poison? Small businesses are the real economy, not Wall Street. You got 6 big Wall Street firms that control $60 trillion, of which 10 to 12 trillion of that 60 is in stocks alone. These are a bunch of gangsters that move this money. Wall Street is designed for you, the retail investor, to lose. Only you're never going to win unless you know what you're doing, because it's been designed for Wall Street to win. But going back to small businesses, it's terrible. Remember, small businesses drive local spending. When you hire, if you're a contractor and you hire a carpenter, you create 5 more jobs in your community. That's how it works. Microsoft doesn't do that. NVIDIA doesn't do that. So, if you think about it, the small business in your community stabilizes your community. They drive local spending. They drive the tax revenue. It gives the community stability. They're the first to hire when the economy grows, not Apple, not NVIDIA. And when small businesses crack, the labor market cracks and the real economy cracks. But see, they don't want you to know that. And they don't want you to know the small businesses are hurting so bad right now. The data shows it. It's the same pressure everywhere, but they don't talk about it. They always come out every day and say, oh, we got the greatest economy ever. High interest rates are killing small businesses. Their lines of credit are getting cut off. If people who run a small business, they live on lines of credit. They have to buy inventory. They have to buy, they get accounts receivable. They need a line of credit. And these bankers just cut it off. Just cut it off. And that's why bankruptcies are at a historic number right now. Inflation. That's another big problem for small businesses. It's still elevated and getting worse. They lie to us about the inflation number. They never tell us the truth. You ask any small business owner, they'll cite inflation as their number one problem. And they'll tell you we're being lied to every day about inflation. Real inflation's at about 7.5%. That's real inflation if they don't fudge with the numbers. They don't manipulate the numbers, about 7.5%. The highest since 2024. Small businesses can't pass on costs like the big corporations, like Walmart and so forth. Small businesses can't do that. The labor and material costs are rising, unbelievable. Construction, retail, food services, transportation. Their margins are contracting, the worst we've ever seen. And you got to hold those margins or you'll be out of business. This thing about we'll cut prices, make it up on volume. I'll show you a whole line of bankruptcies on that song. The most important thing if you're a small businessman, don't cut that margin. Whatever your margin is, stay with it or you're going to go out of business. Consumers are tapped out, but we're being told this is the best economy ever. Household debt is nearing $20 trillion. What are you, nuts? Delinquencies are rising. And when consumers fall behind, small businesses are the first ones to absorb the shock. Not Microsoft, not Apple, not NVIDIA, not Meta. The small business. When you drive down to your hometown, you go down Main Street, see those small businesses? That's America. That's what keeps us strong. But there's no concentration. There's no effort on helping the small business. But the women's basketball team, oh my God, they got people on Fox every night. They're going to throw $10 million at it, $15 million at it. Unbelievable. How about throwing some money to small businesses whose line of credit got cut off by their local bank? The cowards. Small business is our best warning system to the stock market. Everybody's trading stocks like the market's never going to crash. What are you, nuts? When you have margin accounts over $1 trillion, the highest we ever got was $350 billion. I think that was 2020. Over $1 trillion. That's a warning system. See, small businesses feel pain first, right out of the gate. They feel pain. Long before Wall Street. Wall Street never feels pain. They create pain. They create pain because they created a system, especially when they financially engineered this new weighting system, where 7 stocks now have the same weight as 300 to 400 stocks. That's not going to work out. So they're always telling us, well, the 7 stocks, remember, you don't need 300, 400 stocks to hold up the market. We just need 7 stocks to hold up the whole stock market. To hold up 700 stocks, we just need the Magnificent 7, that's all. It does the job of 300 to 400 companies or stocks. That's a bunch of BS. Bankruptcies are rising near 67%. That's not noise. That's truth. That's the economy flashing red. That's the stock market saying you better learn how to sell short. That's the stock market telling you you better learn how to watch the bond market, because the bond market tells you the truth. If you know how to use the bond market, you'll never get hurt in a crash. You'll make money. You know the small business optimism index is the lowest ever? It's crazy. Small business owners are cutting and cutting and cutting. They can't raise prices because their customers can't afford it. They're bracing for a recession. Small businesses will always tell you when a recession is going to happen or a crash is going to happen, just like yields. Yields and IWM, small mid-cap stocks, are never wrong about a crash. They're always correct about when a crash is going to happen, unlike the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve does nothing right. They got this new guy. He's going to go out to Jackson Hole on Friday. Why do they send them to Jackson? Know what it costs to send them to Jackson Hole? Why do they have to go to Jackson Hole? Why can't they meet in the Fed building? It's like $22 million you and I have to pay to send these people over to Jackson Hole. Between security and the airplanes and, oh my God, you got to have 2 airplanes there. It's unbelievable, the cost. So bankruptcies are rising. They're 67%. The real economy is flashing red. The stock market's flashing red. Everybody's avoiding it. The weaknesses in retail, food service, transportation, construction, all bankruptcies. That's where the bankruptcies are soaring. And the contradiction, I never see such contradiction. Everything is great, the narrative, everything is great, the best economy ever. And the small business bankruptcies are exploding. Well, why don't they tell the truth and fix it? And stop these banks from cutting the small business off. So that's what's going on. So, and here's the other thing where they lie to you about. Small businesses, they put into the subchapter 5 into it's part of bankruptcy now, and they lie, and they say subchapter 5 it's like when you go to a what am I trying to think of? Can't think of it right now, but they tell you, oh, we're helping the small business. It's a special type of Chapter 11. It's Chapter 5. It's created specifically for small businesses. It was added to bankruptcy code in 2020 under small businesses. Because what is it? Think of it as Chapter 11 light, faster, cheaper, simpler way of business to reorganize instead of shutting down. Not true. It's like arbitration. That's the word I was looking for. Like arbitration. Supposed to be faster and cheaper. Not true. Not true. It's the same thing. If you're a small business, don't listen to your lawyer, because he makes a fortune with this new deal. Okay, this new small business subchapter 5, because they can drag it out. They can drag it out and get more and more fees. So, today the yields are falling. But the yields are too high. We're at 4.6% in a 10-year. Look at the 2-year. The 2-year yield is crazy. The 2-year yield. You got to have the 2 years of 4.19. It's got to be, the 2-year has to be at 3. That's the comfort level at 3. We're not. But nobody's talking about that. They won't tell you the truth. You can't have yields, a 2-year yield above 3%. What are you, nuts? This is crazy. So, banks, JP Morgan, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, the only place you can make money with those, remember, those have been going up since June, especially our Bank of America and JP Morgan. They've been going up since June, straight up. But unfortunately, they're going up for the wrong reasons. If you take the amount of days from June, trading days, to now, the majority of the trading days, the bank stocks have not been yield friendly. In other words, you want yields rising when banks are going up. When you buy a bank stock, you want yields rising. Well, yields have not been rising. They haven't been favorable for banks. But banks keep going up and up and up, even though the yields are not friendly. But the yields tell you the truth. As the bank keeps going up and up and up, BAC, JP Morgan is telling you the truth. Be careful. It's going to, the minute that they stop taking money from tech stocks and pushing it into the bank stocks, JP Morgan and Bank of America are going to fly like a flying monkey. I mean, it's going to just collapse. Because once that money stops rotating out of tech to big banks, the stock will always follow the yield. If you're buying a stock, like bank stocks, and the yields are supposed to be up for bank stocks, so you get good performance, and if the yields are down more often than up, then it means the stock is wrong. The stock's going up for the wrong reason, but nobody tells you that. And then the minute the money shuts off, the stock will always turn and follow the compass, which is the yield. So if yields are always down, more often down than up, then the minute that they stop rotating cash, you're going to see these bank stocks collapse. But you're going to have a wonderful shorting opportunity. You're going to make a lot of money shorting the bank stocks. Right now, most traders are just doing swing trades, like JP Morgan and BAC and Goldman Sachs. They're doing swing trades in and out. Healthcare. That's a defensive play. Everybody's running to healthcare now. Amgen is one of our stocks, doing great. But there's only a couple stocks that are moving the market. And you got to remember, it's interesting, when the stock market, you got to find out, where's the money going? Remember, 65 million people trade stocks every day, 65 million. And at the end of the day, 95% of the 65 million lose money because they don't even understand what a yield is. And also, stop listening to these people on Fox Business and CNBC. It's all noise. They always have this hot stock. Tech, 45% of the volume goes to tech. 45% of the 1.3 trillion that trades every day goes to tech. Another 18 to 20% goes to the banks. Almost 65% goes to those two groups. What are you doing in other groups? Well, I'll tell you what you're doing in other groups. Because you don't know how to short. So when these stocks turn around and start going down, you don't know what to do. You go look and buy another stock because you don't know how to short. What are you, nuts? When these stocks start turning around and going down, my Lord, that's when you want to short. Some great shorting opportunity. Energy. About 10% of the money goes there. That's all you want. Don't get involved with these staples, defensive stocks. I mean, you're just wasting your time and energy and money. Stay with your banks because, again, about 18% of that 1.3 trillion that trades every day goes to energy. Okay, about 10% goes to energy. Banks about 18%, and tech about 45%. So why are you screwing around with staples or defensive stocks like XLP or XLU utilities? Why are you fooling with those? It's crazy. But people follow Wall Street. They follow the jibber jabbers. They follow the noise. When Wall Street wants to make money and they want to take a certain stock group and push it, they get on the phone, okay, with CNBC or Fox Business and tell them, create a story, make sure everybody buys X stock, and they'll put that story out there, and they'll create it, and it's all false, and people run like cattle. But if they understood the bond market, they'd say, wait a minute, This stock's no good. What are they talking about? It's not a bond-friendly stock. So these are the things that you need to know. But all I want to say is right now is, look, always be prepared for a correction or a crash. And right now, when you have margin accounts over $1 trillion, that is such a red flag, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So learn how to sell short, okay? I mean, who knows how long they can rig this market to keep going up. But stay with your most powerful stocks, and right now, the relative strength stocks, okay, again, are in your tech software. That's where all the money is going. All the money is going, and the yields are totally against you. But if you can stay in that group, like EAT is a good one, okay? CRM is another one. If you stay in that group, you'll be just fine. That's where all the money's going. It's going into the software, okay, tech software. All right, that's about it. So again, thank you for participating today. But I just wanted to give you that insight on what is tearing this market, the fabric apart that nobody's talking about. They don't want to talk about it. Instead, they mask it with, this is the best economy we've ever seen in history. Look, I think Trump has done a great job, okay? I think he's done a terrific job, okay, for our country. But he's got to get his eye back on the ball. He's got to get his eye back on these small businesses. Help the small businesses out, and then you're going to help the folks out. If you don't help the small businesses, you can't help the folks. And I'm afraid he's going to lose we can't lose the midterm elections to these, get more salami-kalamis like the guy in New York. Are you kidding me? Are you going to spread these commies all over the country? It's stupid. All right, that's it. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for joining me here at Phil's Gang. Check us out, philsgang.com.
Are you nuts?